going on, everybody? This is Sports Zone Media with your host Ernie and Justin.
Yep, and today we got a special guest.
Special guest.
Close friend to the both of us.
Yep.
Brother Pete Underwood.
What's up, guys?
Great friend, great mentor, great father figure, probably for both of us. Man, I love everything about this guy except one thing, that he's a Red Sox fan.
You know it, man. You know it. That's how we roll.
Yep. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm great. Living life in East Texas. Still in the bask of the Texas Ranger glow that's around me.
Yeah.
Trying to not hear the bang the drum that's going on to the south in Houston, So give them some Red Sox love while we're here. But anyway, man, I'm great. It's good to see you guys. Thanks for letting me come on Sports Zone with you guys. Looking forward to a fun time together tonight.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, very honored for you to be our very first guest on the podcast. Thank you again for having us, or for having you on the show.
Yeah, buddy.
I like your box of cereals back there. What you got back there?
Oh man, I got some Josh Beckett in the house representing 2007. Yeah, I got my boy.
At least it ain't 04, huh?
Well, I got some of that somewhere too. And we got our buddy David Ortiz while we're at it too. We got our Red Sox gear, man.
Yeah,
that's right. Got some Big Poppy sauce. Got my boy Wally. So
yeah,
I got all my stuff, man. I came armed and ready for tonight, brothers. So
yeah, we ready to go, man. We tonight we want to get into the AL East and our predictions and what what we think teams need, because there's still big free agents out in the market right now.
That's right.
So I guess we could start with, we'll save the best for last. We'll save the Yankees for last. All right, and we'll start with the worst. So we'll start with the Red Sox. How about that?
Oh man, you're gonna work your way up. Well, y'all are next after us.
Yeah, no, yeah.
We Red Sox have a lot of hill to climb. They're banking on a lot of the farm system this year, and they're coming off a little bit of last year. Some of the guys, they made, the interesting trade. Chris Sale ate a good portion of his salary. I think $17 million. But they got Vaughn Grissom back, and there's still some debate about him with his metrics. Trying to put him at short last year, but he's really a second baseman, which the Red Sox need.
Yeah.
So, I can see that working out. I think there's like 6 years of control. So,
he's I think he's a young stud. I think it was a great trade for y'all, but I know Chris Sale was a free agent after the year, huh? Is that what it was?
They had one more year they could have opted in on him. They weren't going to do that, not for what he is right now. I hope nothing but the best. Chris Sale is the ultimate competitor. Any Sox guy, in spite of the disappointments of the last, he got us a lot of 2018, so.
Definitely.
But
he pulled a mad bum closing out the game.
I remember. Yeah, I still like that little case on. He looked like they had swing and miss, and he looked like a K sitting in the ground with one knee. So anyway, Justin, there's some good players we got though. Jarren Duran, there's talk about him getting shopped, but I think he ends up in right. I hope Rafala can stick with the team, and maybe his defensive metrics are a lot of JBJ, Jackie Bradley Jr. all over again. So there's a lot of optimism, I think, as far as the defense getting better. They need one more bat. Yoshi's probably playing DH, it looks like. Devers is there, So, and hopefully a healthy Trevor Story, So
they've said that he's looked pretty good so far this offseason.
Yeah. And he's really taken some ownership over there, too. So,
Justin,
who you like? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say they need somebody to step up over there. Story needs to fill the gap. He needs to be on the field, whether they're losing or not, or winning or whatever. Story needs to be out there, because, and you got to think, the Red Sox let Bogarts go.
Yeah, I know.
For Story.
Yeah. Yeah. While we're on Bogey, let's jump to that real quick. Second base, right?
Yeah.
San Diego. Oh, that it's interesting. The last two big contracts really San Diego delved out were to Tatis and then Bogarts, both shortstops that are now not playing shortstop. So that looks bad on management a little bit, but we don't have to dive into that. But it's just interesting. Bogey was not going to stay long at short. His metrics were going against him. It was whether it was going to be third or second. But I'm not upset. I love the guy, like we did Sale. But if the Red Sox are going to get better, they had to move on from those big contracts a little bit. So, but yeah, Jansen's hurting the pen right now. They're evaluating him. Kevin's got one more year.
They say he might get traded. Is that true?
I've seen his name. Justin, help me out. You keep up with this too. His name, Schreiber's name, and also Martin's name, all have been kind of mentioned. I think the Red Sox, they might know something more than we all know about the bullpen arms. Martin he had one of the best years for all relievers last year for an eighth inning guy. He did a little bit of ninth inning. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, that East is always competitive. It does not matter. I mean, it's going to be a competitive season no matter who's the best team and who's the worst team. You don't go into it and just say, oh, we're going to roll these guys because you don't know. Red Sox's biggest gap is pitching, though. We all know that. Giolito is not a number one. They've got to figure out something. I don't know if they get Montgomery. I don't know if they go big on Snell. I could still see maybe a 1 or 2 year, opt out on a 2-year big contract, maybe $60 million. Maybe the Red Sox like a shorter option. Snell, because he carries the draft pick issue, would be a little bit more. Montgomery's no compensation carried. So,
if that's one thing the Red Sox need is pitching. I mean, they needed it last year too, but this year, since they traded Sale, they needed a little more, and they got Giolito, but like you said, he's not no number one.
No.
They got Bayo, they have Giolito, they have Crawford, they have Tanner Houck, whatever.
Pivetta. Yeah. Pivetta had an interesting season. His numbers were crazy. It was almost like watching Jackie Bradley Jr. pitch, because JBJ would bat 350 for a month and a half, and then he'd bat like 150. Pivetta stunk early on, and then he just found the switch. They put him in a long relief, kind of in the bullpen. He was electric, gave him some starts, and so they brought him back. Yeah, so I was glad to see that. He was worth that. But anyway, yeah.
They also have former Yankee Garrett Whitlock.
One of the best Rule 5s. I still think that's going to work out, but he's way better suited in that 6th, 7th inning role, maybe even 8th inning, depending. His arm hasn't held up, and his ERA was plus 4.5, maybe almost 5, I think, at times when he started. I don't think he was healthy, but just being honest, he was so lights out when he was a reliever. Right. I hated to see him move off of that, but yeah.
I really, going back to the Red Sox pitching issues, I really wanted to make a move for Dylan Cease, especially when it was really heating up. But the more and more I look into it, they want a haul for Cease. But it's enticing because of the fact he still has 2 years team control. I think I can't remember the number on the arbitration for this year would be. They're saying the next year would be $15 million for his final year of team control. You're probably paying half of what he's valued on the open market.
Yeah.
But what would we have to give up? We have to give up a Meyer or somebody like that to acquire somebody like Cease.
They have asked to broker the farm. I think was it the Braves? There was a couple teams that were in talk. Maybe the Dodgers. They wanted a king's ransom, like a couple of your top. So for the Red Sox, for example, that would either be Roman Anthony, who's a stud outfielder. Actually, I saw one prospect list where it had Anthony, corner outfielder, ahead of Mayer now, because Mayer was injured last year. So I mean, and I think they're both legit. So are you willing to give up one of those guys, maybe throw in Rafala, and then maybe give up a guy like Houck? I mean, that's a lot to ask. And granted, you get 2 years of control, but you better be ready to re-sign that guy if you're going to give up that much. You know, that's the thing. And I just, you have to ask yourself at one point, is this team with Cease going to win the World Series? And probably not. So do you give up your prospective future, especially high-end prospects, in order to get somebody who, how much does the meter move now? Do we move past the Yankees? Do the Red Sox move past Toronto or the Rays? I mean, you know, how far do we go up the ladder with Dylan Cease? Competitive? Sure. I really think the Red Sox are 2 pitchers away on free agency. I don't think what we have in house is it. Now you talk about Cease and maybe Montgomery or Snell. We can re-engage the conversation a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe sign Duvall on a 1-year contract, throw him in the mix in the outfield. He did okay when he was healthy. Now we've got a really competitive team. I still think we're 2 to 3 players away, just personally.
Yeah, I agree.
I tell you what, I'm surprised Boston did not bring back Justin Turner.
Justin Turner declined his option, didn't he? Turner declined the option.
Yeah, well, you know, did Boston ever reach out for, you know, as for another contract?
That's up for debate. I don't think the Red Sox were genuinely interested. I think they see the deficiencies. Their defense was one of the worst in the league last year. Turner was not going to play the field. The poor guy had to play second base last year at times, and he did well. I mean, you hate his leadership. That's the big thing. And not only does he leave, but where does he go? Toronto. So, I mean, he's going to a rival, and he's going to bring them that leadership that we had last year. So they saw that Yoshida is a good hitter, but he's not a great defensive player. So you got to get back some of your loss on runs, and you got to make up for it in the outfield. That's why I think Rafala, if Rafala hits in the spring, he stays with the team, and they figure that out, you know, because they really need to make sure they have the defense ready. So if they're not going to have the plus power. But Turner was arguably, because Devers had a good year, but not a Devers-like year last year. He was arguably at times their MVP last year.
Oh, yeah. He probably had one of the most quiet MVP seasons you could have had. No one talked about Justin Turner because of how bad the Red Sox were.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's say it. I mean, I hate to sing the song, but all he does is win. I mean, everywhere he goes. LA, Boston last year was not as good, but he made them a better team. There's no doubt. And he's going to make Toronto a better team. He's not going anywhere. He's a 300 hitter. He's going to hit 20 home runs. And he's going to be what you don't see on the field is that leadership for those guys like Bichette, Vlad. Yeah, that's going to be fun.
I know this is kind of off topic, but was he on those Mets teams when they went into the World Series and lost to the Royals?
I don't know.
I feel like he was. I might be mistaken.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
I might be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure he was.
Yeah, I have to look into that, but I don't want to be. Well, I don't want to lie to you about that.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the Blue Jays, where do y'all see the Blue Jays finishing this year?
Anywhere from 2 to 3, in my opinion, in the division.
Yeah. I tell you what, their pitching is really good. If Manoah can maintain what he did, not last year, but because they have Bassett, Berrios, who else? They have Kikuchi. That's your favorite guy right there, Kikuchi.
That's what I'm talking about.
Manoah, and they just got a guy from Cuba, and Yariel Rodriguez, who's supposed to be pretty good.
Highly coveted.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what their plan is. I don't know if they're going to make him a starter or a reliever, though. They haven't really said. Yeah,
and they got Romano at the back end of that bullpen, still lights out, one of the best relievers.
Yeah.
So
they have a top prospect in Tinman, if that's how you say it.
Yeah, you're going to learn how to pronounce his name because I noticed he's on your fantasy roster now, bud. So so when you think about the Blue Jays, last year was a down year for them, and Manoah was a big letdown. We saw his epic collapse. Surely he gets it together. He's not going to be what he was. There was some talk about even people trying to go after him, but the Jays are not going to trade him when he's down. You know, his value is surely got a higher ceiling, but you still got, now they lose Chapman at third. So that's going to be interesting. You know, that speaking of leadership, I know they get Turner. Turner's going to DH. He's probably not going to play third much, but you know, Chapman was good. So there's still some speculation about some guys out there that can, and who knows, what if they jump in? What if they jump in on one of those pitchers to shore up anything up front? I mean, and now you're looking at, like you said, Justin, hey, we're talking 2 or 3. Could they move it closer to Baltimore now?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
So I mean, that we know that team is talented.
Yeah.
That team is very talented. They just underperformed to some degree last year, but they're gonna be a little bit better this year, no doubt.
I think a lot of what hurt them is going back to Manoah, as they expected
Mhm.
Manoah to be a 15 to 20 win guy.
Yeah.
And then you don't get that. And you have outings where he's giving up 6 runs in an inning and
Yeah.
not having those long 5 to 7 innings pitched outings. I mean, that was a cause for concern for sure.
So Bassett's back, Gossman's back. You get a healthy
Berrios.
Manoah, the figures is out, Berrios. I mean, you're already 4 deep, and
Yeah.
that's something you're okay with going into the playoffs, no doubt.
Right.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, so this is what I'm talking about. If the guys hit and the pitchers tighten it up a little bit, Romano got hurt a little bit last year. They get all that figured out. Like you said, Tiedemann comes in,
Mhm.
and they still have a decent farm system. There's some kids
Yeah.
down there. You just wonder, do they go after another infielder? Do they maybe try to figure out, you know, where they're at? So I think they're definitely, they're not going away. That's for sure. Surely they don't fall off the map. So
They're a pretty young team, and Vlad, Bichette. Who else they got? They have
well, they got Jansen, and of course the other guy that kind of fell off a little bit was Kirk. Kirk had a great year the year, but last year he wasn't as steady for them. Jansen came in hurt. He played a little, but they've got really veteran presence behind the plate there. Good hitters. There's definitely raw power. I mean, they're good. I mean, you know that. You know, and if they're missing something by the trade deadline, you know, plug and play, and next thing you know, to me, they could be sneaky good. I mean, everybody's like, yeah, Toronto, we know they're good. I mean, I'm talking about sneaky good, like win a division. They're not. They're
I
not.
could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I mean, let's just throw a name out there. What if they go find Cody Bellinger? They've been linked to a couple outfielders. Now we're talking about, oh man, you know, so yeah.
You put Bellinger in that offense, and then you have the type of pitching that the Toronto has. I mean, that's a recipe for success right there.
Oh yeah.
But you know, the Orioles, they had, you know, some decent pitching, but they also just took a hit in Kyle Bradish.
Yeah, that hurts.
Yeah. They say he's going to try and rehab through the tear in his UCL, but most of the time that leads to Tommy John, which I hate, man. That one of the worst surgeries you could have as a pitcher.
Yeah, and he had such a good year last year for him.
Yeah. And then they also don't have Felix Bautista for the year, I believe.
Yeah.
He's out.
Yeah.
So now you're stuck with
Bautista was phenomenal.
Yeah, he's probably one of the best relievers last year.
Oh man, yeah.
Crazy stretch where he didn't allow a run.
Yeah,
insane.
But you know, they lost Bradish, but they also acquired Corbin Burns.
That was a big move.
And I tell you what, man, the Orioles fleeced the Brewers. I think fleeced. They ran away with that trade.
I just want to say that opens the door for either Chicago or Cincinnati to take that division now, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that Burns acquisition, experience, maturity for that young staff. I mean, and you get Means back. He's finally, you know, he came back from that surgery, Tommy John, and now he's back. And he was very good going into that injury. So I mean,
he threw a no-hitter before that, I believe.
Yes. And those bats, obviously, we know they got the kids, Rushman, Gunnar. I mean, their talent pool was
Yeah, they still
Oh
have
yeah,
Holiday.
I mean, yeah,
As a
I
Red
mean,
Sox fan, I'm not ready for it, but as a fan of baseball,
Yeah.
I'm ready for it.
sure,
Ready to see
sure.
him whoop up on the Yankees.
Yeah, I like that one, Justin.
Anybody's gonna whoop up on the Yankees, man. As long as Booney is still there, we're gonna get steamrolled.
Ernie, you don't have any optimism for your Yankees this year, man. You picked up one of the best players in the game, Juan Soto. You got to been doing cartwheels, man. I know you have it in you, man.
Yeah, deep down, absolutely. But the thing that scares me, as a Yankee fan, I want the Yankees to re-sign Soto. Like, and I get it. He's probably gonna test free agency, and I get it. But maybe Judge is gonna learn his ear a little bit. Like, hey, I took less money to be with the Yankees for a reason. So maybe Judge could pitch, you know, something in his ear, and hopefully it helps. But at the end of the day, Soto has done a lot in his career, and he's only 25.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
You're paying.
So
Judge, I believe, was 25 when he first started with the Yankees, around that age.
yeah, you can't let Soto walk.
No, I mean, as you always hear, oh well, the Yankees bought their players. I tell you what, I hate that crap. I hate hearing that crap because it's the Dodgers buying their players and deferring all the dang money.
We're not in the NL West. We're going to leave them over there, man, so we don't get
But
depressed.
yeah, if this was George Steinbrenner, the boss, he would make sure Juan Soto does not leave the Yankees. I firmly believe that.
Yeah. Right now, the Yankees are my pick to finish second. I have the O's finishing first in the division. The Yankees, I pick second.
I tell you what, man.
Just
I think
because on paper they do look very good, but what are you going to get on the field come April?
my
That's my
only
biggest
my
concern.
only concern with the Yankees is their pitching.
Yeah.
That's where I was
Can
going to go.
Rodon
Ernie, give
stay
me
healthy?
your 5 starters. Give me your 5 starters right now.
You got Cole, you got Rodon, you got Stroman, you have Nasty Nestor and Cortez, and you have Clark Schmidt. But after that, Yankees, there's question marks.
Yeah, losing Michael King was a big hit for San Diego to lose Soto. They gave up a lot of pitching in that trade.
Yeah.
Stroman's a good pickup. Good pickup for the Yankees.
I think it's a really underrated pickup.
Yeah, I mean he's a 3 guy. You don't want him being your number 1. I'm not sure you even want him number 2 anymore. But he's a solid number 3.
Right. And they got him for pretty cheap too.
Yes, that's what's amazing. So I mean, going back to the Soto conversation. So you got Cole's contract, you got Stanton's contract, you got Judge's contract. So if you do go that stratosphere with Soto, you're going to be giving Steve Cohen over it in New York on the other side a little bit of run, because I'm interested to see what the salary is for your competition with them. I'm sure they didn't trade for Soto not to sign him, but they're going to be over that. They're going to take that penalty for a good while to do so. Stanton's contract. So
and Stanton's contract is horrible, and he's playing horrible.
Yeah,
it just sucks.
Hey, Ernie, can we put that on rewind? We're going to remind you of that all year, buddy. What'd you say, Ernie? So,
like I said, Stroman, Soto would, if the Yankees did resign him. Right now, the Yankees, I believe, are the number 1 team, and with the not cap space, is it cap space that they call it? Salary cap. Yeah, salary cap. They're the number 1 team, which is crazy because all they did was pick up Soto and Stroman, really.
What was Soto's 33?
Either 31 or 33 million a year.
Yeah, he got a huge contract for his arbitration. But Justin, I'm not going to. I really, to be honest with you, you said Yankees number 2. The interesting thing about this team, though, is they had, like last year, all this talent. Now minus Soto, Gleyber's there, Volpe another year, under his belt. So if they take that next step forward, yeah. Number two is definitely, do they have enough? Well, they'll go get it. That's one thing we know about the Yankees. If they don't, and they're in contention. But I also see this team potentially against these lineups they've got to face with the hitters. If something happens to Cole, let's just throw that out there. Cole, for example.
Yeah.
What happens? They go all the way down there to the bottom, maybe, if they're not careful. So you can hit all day. I've seen great hitting teams in this division finish second to last or last. I mean, Red Sox had a good hitting team last year. Couldn't get out of the cellar. Why?
Yeah.
Pitching. You know, so I mean, you've got to have pitching to win in this division, hands down. So, you know, and that's something the Yankees really, they're good right now. But like you said, Ernie, and you know the farm better than I do, what do you got down there? Well, you just traded it all for the most part, if you had anything close. So
yeah. I don't know, you know, we'll see what happens. Obviously, I'm excited for the season. I'm sure y'all are excited for the season. I think we both know which directions we're both going to go. You know, it's baseball. Anything can happen, and that's the beauty of the sport.
yeah. You know.
Okay. I mean, there ain't much to the Rays. You know, it's just the Rays, you know.
Yeah, but all this,
they'll probably still win 90.
They just reboot. I'm interested, and I don't know how you say the kid's name. Pepio.
Oh yeah, Ryan Pepio. Yeah.
Dodgers. He's got good stuff, and he was a high prospect with the Dodgers. And all we know is every time the Rays take somebody else's trade chips, you know, boom, you know, and they just find a way to blossom down there. So who knows if this kid doesn't become another guy that kind of goes, he's mid-20s, you know, I think 26 now. But, you know, who knows, you know, what happens with him. Brendan Lau didn't hit last year and had some injuries, you know, but
I tell you
they
what,
just always find a way.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
You know,
It is. Good call.
They're probably going to lose Franco more than likely.
Oh, there's no way he's coming. He won't be in the MLB again.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
it's not like he's helped himself in the situation either.
Yeah. So they lose him, but they also have a good prospect coming up. Well, he came up towards the end of last year, and Junior Candelario, I think that's his name.
Yep.
No, it's not Kendall. I don't think it's Kendall. I don't know how to say it, but his name is Junior.
Yeah, that's the first baseman.
I think he's a middle.
Okay, I got it. We got all these prospects in my head. Yeah. They've got, of course, Tampa always has kids. They brought the Meade kid up. He played a little bit for him last year, and he's kind of a top prospect for him too.
Yeah.
They always seem, you know, to make these trades. You know,
they always find a way. It's
trash,
like
like
their
treasure.
system works.
Yeah,
I kind of messed up on their rankings because I forgot about the Rays for a little bit.
I tell you what, though,
my projection, Yankees 3, and either Rays or A's 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to put the Rays at 3 or 4 because we always say, oh, well, they're not that good. They're not that good, but they win like 90 to 100 games every year.
Yeah.
And they're just good. Their system works every year. I don't know what they're doing. I would love to know. But because
I'd like to copy it.
Yeah. Bring Kevin Cash back to the Yankees or something, you know?
Well, Red Sox tried bringing the Tampa guy north, and it didn't work out very well for us. So it doesn't always work outside of that system. But the more we have talked, and I know we're running short on time, the more we've talked about this, I think I'm almost talking myself into Toronto. I think I'm gonna pick Toronto to take it. I think so. Let's just throw this scenario out. They're halfway in the middle of the year, and they see Shane Bieber over there, and he's pitching pretty good. Hey, we'll throw you a prospect, and we'll take half a year of Bieber. And now all of a sudden, I mean, Bieber's lost some velocity, but he's still got talent. I'm just thinking they're that close to me, and the more I'm thinking about them, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Baltimore, I don't know if Baltimore does it again. I think they're up there. Maybe they finish number 2, maybe Toronto, but I got Toronto either 1 or 2. I think the Yankees, then I go the Rays, and I go the Red Sox. I hate to say that, but and it's hard for me, like you said, Justin, the Rays being that close to the bottom. I don't think it's they've gotten that much worse. I just think the teams in the division are getting that much better. And so, but I do think any one of those top 3, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? There's still big free agents out there in Bellinger, Snell, Chapman.
Yeah.
Who else is out there?
Montgomery, we talked about him.
Montgomery, yeah. So, I mean, whether it's the Rays, the Yankees, I mean, the Red Sox need, I could see Montgomery going to the Red Sox.
I think the Red Sox don't want lengthy contracts, so they probably, if one of these guys comes down to 2 years, even if it's an opt-out, they'll pay the money up. They've got plenty of cap room right now, so that's not an issue for them.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And they just brought back the Epstein, too.
Yeah, that's a little more hype. He's more in the Fenway group than he is the Red Sox group, and he's dealing with basically from a commercial standpoint, the soccer teams and everything else too. I love that. Don't get me wrong. He was such a blessing because that was 2004. But you remember that, Ernie? So
I'm glad I was only 4 years old.
I wish I'd known you then. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, but no, man. The good thing I'm looking forward to is we're not too far from baseball. We get to do all this rivalry stuff like we're doing right now. Talk the smack. Hey, we're all in first place right now, so it feels good. You know, so we'll see what it looks like at the end of April or May, But anyway,
But yeah, man, I think that's all we got for today. We appreciate you coming on the show, and hopefully we could get you back on soon.
One of these days we'll get you on to talk about Gator football.
Hey,
you can rant to each other.
Yeah, we like that, man. Hey, I'm proud of you guys. You guys are doing a great job. I enjoy listening. And anytime I can help y'all out, you know my number, guys.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it, man. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Y'all too.
All right.
All right, so you guys, that's gonna be the video for today. Just a little backstory on who PD is. When I was probably 3 or 4 years old, Brother Pete took the pastor position at our church in Bogalusa, Louisiana. He was there from the time I was a child all the way up to last year.
Yeah.
And he's been a huge influence on myself, and I know Ernie as well. He's the reason I'm a Florida football fan. He's the reason that I'm a Boston Red Sox fan. And besides, my parents and my grandfather, he was one of the biggest role models to me as a child. So to have him on is kind of it's surreal because
we're very honored.
Very honored.
Very honored for him to be our first guest.
He married both of us. He did both of our weddings.
Yeah. So great man of God. He's a pastor. We miss him terribly, but we know God has bigger things in store for him and his family and his ministry. And we just can't thank you enough for being on the show, brother. And God bless you. Take care. And can't wait for you to be back on. So
yes, sir.
That's it for today's episode. Thank y'all for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, share, and we'll see y'all next time.
Yep. And PD will hopefully be back on.
Yes. So see y'all.